Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Growl Podcast. I am the Lady Lioness, and I'm here with my co-host Nicholas Tanek from the Your Kinky Friends podcast.
Hello.
And each week on the Growl, we hunt down the topics you crave, the people you want to hear from, and we go live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we explore the inner growl, that undeniable fire, and the drive that makes us do what it is that we do. What I'd love for you folks to do is like and subscribe to the Growl Podcast on YouTube. You can follow us on socials, Facebook, Instagram. And if something resonates with you, please share it with your friends. Before we begin, just a brief reminder, disclaimer. The topics we discuss are adult in nature, so that this podcast is meant for the 18-plus audience. We are all consenting adults here. And everything that we talk about is from a place of safety, sanity, and consent. So tonight's episode is a little bit different. The growl is usually about hunger, desire, power, and the fire that brings us together in kink. Tonight, we're talking about something just as primal, and that will be care. Last week, my co-host, my brother in this community, Nicholas Tanek, my guest on the show tonight, he's just here for the ride, experienced the sudden loss of his father, and that was very sad. But what happened next, it mattered a whole lot. Our community showed up in such a big way. He was sent messages, there were check-ins, there was so much love and support. There was no fixing, no platitudes, just a quiet presence. And in kink, we talk a lot about chosen family. But tonight we're talking about what that actually looks like when life hits hard. So this episode tonight is about how we take care of each other. And it's about being with people that care about us and in a space where we are open to receiving and sharing and being. So one of the first things that I want to touch on is that if you are experiencing some bigger emotions, I've included in the show notes tonight some resources for mental health and crisis management. Please feel free to check those. We are not mental health providers. We're just two friends having a chat about some bigger, deeper things. So the purpose of this show is to provide a sense of community and a sense of care. And please seek professional help if you are in an acute state of emotional need. So I'm going to start with the Your Kinky Friends theme song, just to honor Nick, and as a matter of rounding us out until we have a growl theme song. So we're going to start here. All right, Nick.
Hi.
So thanks so much for being here with us. You chose
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You chose to keep our weekly commitment, and that really, I'm so honored by that. And there's no pressure for you to perform or explain anything or to be strong. We're here to talk about what it feels like to be held by a community, and only at the level that you wanna talk. So thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we wanted to check in with you. We've been talking pretty much every day, and I wanted to make sure that we stayed connected, even though we've only known each other for a few short months. You've become a pretty important person in my life, so it was important to me to make sure that I was connected to you and checking in with you and making sure that you could feel, at the very least, my support. In addition to so many others that I know for a fact who have reached out to you. So how are you feeling right now, being here with us tonight?
I'm deeply, deeply humbled, incredibly grateful. And yeah, I get strength from the kink community. I get strength from the love. I feel a sense of identity and acceptance of my own identity within the kink community. And that gives me the fuel to get through trauma, the pain of loss, So I'm I'm so thankful that I have the community that I have. Everyone shined through, like the love just really shined. So I'm feeling good about that. And that really truly grounds me and puts me in perspective, makes me feel that, you know, even in death, there's life, there's hope, there's life of inspiration. And yeah, that's where I'm feeling these days.
Well, yeah, that's the truth. The death is it's a heavier topic to deal with, but it's definitely a part of life, and it can be a piece that we an opportunity that we take to carry our loved ones with us.
Mhm.
Um, so, what did it mean to you? I know we talked, we checked in quite a bit, and I said, we don't have to do the show. We can cancel. It's not a big deal. Everybody will understand. You take 1 week for yourself. It's fine. But what did it mean to you that the show didn't stop and that our little podcast community didn't disappear?
Well, let's just start this way. I'm taking all the good parts of my father, right? I mean, every human being is very complicated, but I take all the good parts and be inspired by that. One of the things he always told me was to show up, honor your commitments, and this is not just a commitment. It's not something. It's not an obligation to me. I genuinely enjoy doing this. I love you. I love talking with you. I
I love you too, Nick.
Thank you. And it's therapeutic. Through the transplant, doing this got me like I kept on doing it. I wasn't much to look at, dying, but you could hear me and you could hear the heart. You could hear the fire in my heart. Therapeutically, for me, it's emotionally, it's a beautiful thing, and it gives me strength. It gives me energy. Like I was saying before, it gives me a sense of identity as well. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, this is like plus I got to get, well, my father had 5 defibrillators, right? So he was always the kind of guy who was just like, come on, we just got to keep it moving. You know, the point, the meaning of life is to continue. So that's what we're doing, right? And the Kink community is going to continue, and it's like, I, you know, yeah, they were there for me. I want to be there for them. So if I could deliver some kind of show that would hopefully inspire or connect, they can connect with, and let's make that happen.
I think that's an important message that things continue and the show must go on, because a lot of times we feel like we want to retract and sort of take a step back and become reclusive. And that's okay for a time. And you should, hold your heart and give yourself the time and space that you need and the grace to exist in the capacity that you need to. But support system is so incredibly important. And I think that you're definitely a part of my support system, without a doubt. And I'd like to think that I've become a part of yours too, and our community. I look to it quite often,
Mhm.
and in a capacity where we've found our tribe. Those of us who are cut from the same cloth. It's important to stay connected, and to bolster us through some of the heavier things.
And when it comes down to it, you were talking about like the show, and now that I'm just realizing this right now, a lot of people came through for me, just emotionally. They showed up. A lot of people came to my father's funeral. A lot of them have met my dad, and but like I have some friends who just like came because for me, to support me. I don't know anybody, like, I don't know any community that, like, came through like that in any other, part of my life, or let's put it this way, in other parts of my family's life, you know what I mean? It's like, I felt because everyone was there for me, and they were all kind, and they're all cool, and they all keep an open mind, you know what I mean? It's like I felt proud. I really felt proud to be who I am, and that my friends were there, and, and you met some really interesting people.
I sure did. It was quite an experience to be there and see a different see you in a different capacity, in a different light, and to be able to connect with you on even a different level, and to see some of the people who showed up for you, and that's huge. That's
And
really important. That's what we're about.
the show doesn't stop, and I
Mhm.
treat the eulogy like that as well. Like, I mean, life basically is a performance. You're performing, for yourself, even, just your own success, whatever you want to call it. And just like the eulogy, and just like, this show's got to go on. You gotta, unless you're showing up doing something, you're not doing anything. Nothing. You know what I mean?
And we're going to talk about that eulogy, because my God, if that didn't blow me away, Nick, if there was ever a time where you just knocked my socks off, it was then. But we'll get to that a little bit later. What I want to talk about is your moment of impact, and we don't have to go through, the full scale of emotions of, what happened, but I want to take this from the point of when you were at your at the hospital, and when you were in that moment of acceptance of what has happened. I want to talk about what the community meant to you, and how the community came through. So one of the ways I want to talk about, one of the ways that I witnessed the community come through for you was immediately following the loss. You made some of your closest friends aware of what had happened, of course, as one does. I was one of them, along with Mistress Shari of Mischief Manor, who immediately reached out to me. Shout out to Mistress Shari.
I got a whole list of people to thank. Stay tuned, people.
Yeah. And we will definitely get to that, because I want to give you the opportunity to thank some folks. What struck me initially was the support that came from our beautiful community outreach message that Mistress Shari posted on FetLife to spearhead some support for you. It was so heartfelt. It was gorgeous. I reposted it. And she's really been a powerful force in your life. You've shared that many times.
I called her today just to thank her for everything she did during my father's death. And she was in the middle of something. So, one of these things is like she's in the middle, she's got to go, but I'm like pouring my.
Well, she's busy now. Yeah.
I'd rather her be busy.
Yeah. But we even had her on the Growl.
Yes,
we were lucky enough to get her on there. But we were able to witness her authenticity and her warmth firsthand. So when the messages, when that post went out and the messages started pouring in for you, was there a moment where it really landed for you that you were being held, that you were being supported and held? Was there any moment that you could put your finger on?
When it really hit was at the funeral. That's when it really truly hit, when it was at the funeral. But there was that feeling that, like, because of the outpouring, because I remember I left to go to the hospital. I'm kind of talking on the phone, but I only really talked to you, Sunshine, of course. Sunshine was first, but I talked to you, Shari, Nico, a couple of, I sent some messages out, but I was too busy dealing with the family thing and getting him to. Then there's a helicopter involved. He's a pilot, and his last trip was on a helicopter to another hospital. And then slowly, kind of like waves, it kind of just sunk in. It's like, all right, okay. I get you see your wallet, getting a little more money, or your balance getting a little, you say, okay, I got some people really coming out. Like even, some financial contributions, and very important things, showing up, just being there, and getting everybody together. I didn't really tell that many people. It was everybody else who told people, and then told other people, and told other people. Shari, Sunshine, and you were essential to that whole message thing. You know what I mean? And that, and then all of it it's kind of, you saw it like adding up. You felt it adding up, and it's like, okay, you're dealing with the 5 stages of death. Like anger, negotiating, bargaining, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very time consuming. But then at the funeral, when I just started seeing people, people who I want there, you know what I mean? Because I'm Nicholas Tanek. I know a lot of people, and I'm sure some of them are my mom or my dad or my brothers, my nieces and nephews, they don't need to see. No one came in with a big sissy French maid outfit. No one came in a leather gimp suit.
Yeah, that wouldn't have
No
been the
one
time.
came in with whips and shades.
I mean, and the thing to remember is our real life, I don't want to call it real life, but our more vanilla life,
Mhm.
requires us to come correct, if you will.
Yes,
And or in any situation in our kinky life, we come correct for that situation. So, I mean, I think it's a lot of people sort of think about the kink community as like this fantasy wonderland, and it can be an
Mhm.
escape. But it is always a facet of who we are.
Yes,
And I know this is a headier topic, but I mean, I think it's important that we allow the space to discuss it and to realize that, the connections that we make here are very deep. We connect
definitely.
we connect on a seriously deep level. And what comes with
Look, when
that
I
is
saw your after the eulogy, and you saw the whole thing. So I saw
yeah.
you and Ariana Stooney, who's from the Bowery Art Collective. She wrote the forward for my book, and and then see all these other people. Like as soon as I saw your face, like I felt this wave of comfort. I really did. It's like it just,
Oh, Nick.
you know, because like you think of it this way, right? My father's My father's in a casket, and all these other people are there. Each and every one of them, even if they're married, they have kids or anything, they are their own. Ultimately, you're born alone and you die alone. You know what I mean? So loneliness plays this major aspect of it.
Mhm.
I'm so thankful that I felt not only not alone, but accepted. I had people. I had my people there. You know what I mean? And they were decent. They were kind. They were cool. They were impressive. Let's put it that way. Um, let's put it this way. Some of the other friends of my other family members did not show up, but mine did. And at a time of need, right? And it wasn't even a time of necessary need. It was just a time of like comfort that was needed. The comfort was, you know what I mean? The solace, the understanding, dealing with grief and the pain of loss.
Yeah, an
That,
opportunity for you to be supported, an
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah, and they took that opportunity. Just the fact that they thought of me. They had the attention, the time, the consideration. Someone actually thought of me instead of dealing with the maelstrom of problems that they focus in everyday life, that everybody focuses in everyday life. They took
Mhm.
time. They came all the way to this central Jersey to come, you know, see me and help and support me and support a man who passed away. And without then my dad, there would be no me. There'd
You're
be no
right.
kinky friends. There'd be, you know what I mean? So.
So that brings me to my next point. And we sort of build within our community and within different walks of life, sometimes a grouping of people that we call our chosen family. And these are people that we take into our inner circle, our trusted inner circle where we rely on them for support, we confide in them, we count on them. And I want to ask you about your experience in this instance, which you touched on quite a bit with your chosen family. How did that make you feel to have your chosen family around you at that
It made me
time?
feel powerful. It made me feel powerful. It made me feel like I'm not a fuck up because I felt like a fuck up my whole life. I, I used to be a drug addict. I used to, but I redeemed myself, sobered up, got my mind right. I'm trying to get my money right. But now I have a purpose. When I felt they saw me growing up and they saw me without real purpose or identity. I was just some writer who liked weird music and made real music, did some poetry and stuff like that, but it just went nowhere. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Basically, yeah, I mean, so doing that and writing the 3 books and, you can still like that could seem to be going nowhere, but then you see the data. You see the data at like, oh, there are people coming from around all the way that I've never met or I've only heard or talked about. Like these are real. These are it made my chosen family real too with them. You know what I mean? Which is important because then they see me in a different light, and I see myself in a different light that I haven't seen really. Because
Mhm.
so like I love my family and I love my shows and family, and to see them actually get along together in a time in a place where there's so much prejudice, there's so much hatred, there's just like turn on the TV, it's just fear, 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 fear. Oh, channel 2, fear, channel HBO, fear, the news, fear, all this fear, right? To see
And I
that,
think it's important that we circle it back to, together we're stronger.
yes,
Together is what we need. And yeah, and to echo, last night's message without, going too far into, but I watched the Super Bowl and the halftime show.
yeah, yeah,
And the message that, the only thing stronger than hate is love.
right on.
And, together, I mean, that's across the board. That message is not a political message.
That
That's
seemed
a
fun.
human
Didn't that seem like a
experience.
good time, right? Everyone's dancing. Someone got married. They got married. They got married. Yes, it's a real marriage that happened at the Super Bowl while my Bad Bunny was like. Meanwhile, you turn to that. I would keep this a positive show, but let's just say the competition
Oh, I didn't even watch
show
it. I didn't watch it.
wasn't even watched by the person that they were.
Let's not even go there, Nick.
Not
We're
even
gonna
go there. Yeah,
we're gonna
but let's
stay
just say
above.
Bad Bunny. You're right, but you got the people together. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, no, it's
Love,
good.
unity, all that. Right on, my man.
Absolutely. All right. So, speaking of inspiration, I want to talk about my experience in watching you deliver one of the most gorgeous, heartfelt speeches, really performances. You were performing an act of complete unconditional love at your father's funeral, and it was amazing. There wasn't a dry eye in the whole place. People were like the breathing. Even I just watched people like, wow. Like I heard people talking like, wow. Just yeah, absolutely. Like there was so much
Wow.
affirmation. Yeah, I got to stand in the back. I mean, I usually like to stand in the back and sort of observe things. So I'm standing in the back and I'm watching this whole thing play out, and I'm watching you just speak from such a place of love and admiration for a person who made you who you are. And that's, many of us don't get to experience that, and to somewhat live vicariously through your story and the stories that you shared about him, especially that one where you talked about him taking you up in a plane and flying
Yeah.
you over. I mean, I need you to share that. I'm going to let you do that, but that
Okay.
was awe-inspiring. If you don't have to go through the whole eulogy, but that in and of itself, that took my breath away when you said that. I was like, oh my God, what an amazing metaphor for how your father, scooped you up and sort of just put you in this bird's eye perspective of life in general, and said, listen, let's pan out a little bit and look at things from the bird's eye view, and let's realize that's at least the message that I got, that you could.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. That means the world to me. The fact that you said all that about the eulogy. Um, I wanted to take him to church, kind of, and then my way. Right.
It was
Uh,
beautiful. You did it. So I'm going to
the
take myself out, and I want you to talk about that moment specifically.
well, my father was a very practical man. He liked to fix things. He loved photography. So, I mean, the whole eulogy, basically, the metaphor for light. He loved flashlights, and I would always hold the flashlight so I could shine light, so he could fix whatever needs to be fixed, whether it's for us, for my mother, or whatever. He fixed everything. He took a long time, a lot of detail, and he was also a private pilot. And one of the stories that I said was he took me to Somerset Airport. Right, I was a kid, middle school, anxious. I think I have it here. I can actually talk about it. Let's see. Yeah, took me to middle school. Very anxious, and he paused on the tarmac and took a very long picture of the plane. He would always do that. He wasn't in pictures. He was always take the picture, so like he's in the pictures in spirit. But he took me up in this private plane. It's the first time I was ever in a private plane. So, well, no, I was in a private plane like in Hawaii, like on tours, but he's taking me up. My father is taking me up. And it's not as fun as you think, because it's like, there's a lot, there's altitude and longitude, and latitude, and laws and stuff like that, and dials. So it's like, it's very, very detailed. So it's not like just get in the car, just drive. But then we're up in the air, and he takes us over my childhood house, the house that I'm living, the house that I'm going to return to after we're back on the ground, and we're up there. And it was like he was saying, like, look, this is where you're from. Where do you want to go? And who does that? Like, what? I'm a lucky son. I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky son to have such a father who was so caring and loving. Now, don't get me wrong, we did not always get along. There's some things we did get along about, but his general care, concern, and the poetry of photography and the poetry of flight all kind of came in together, with light, basically, because you need light to shine the way. He always had a flashlight. He gave flashlights to everybody. I came out with, after all these like eulogies that were very, short and tearful and stuff like that, I came out with I can't read. I take his yellow flashlight out of my pocket, gotta laugh. And that's yeah. I basically I wrote this spoken word poem to be performed. And if anyone hasn't imagined, you've seen me live, you've seen me like speak with passion and stuff like that. I try to take him to church. I wanted everybody in that room to see the light, feel the light that that's still shining from him through inspiration.
You really did. You took us through a whole gamut of emotions, and people were laughing, people were wiping tears, people were gasping. I mean, you were captivating, and I was so grateful to be there for it.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So of course, I'm grateful to have been there. I want to walk it back to, the community. And do you think that the connections that we make at the depth that we make them in the BDSM community and spaces, do you think that level of consent, vulnerability, trust, that makes this kind of support maybe a little easier to come by?
Yes, 100%, without a doubt. Sunshine and I have an amazing relationship, and I honestly think it's because we got all the sex. We connected via sex and sexuality and stuff like that. But like we're like, this is like the basis. It's the basis of life. Sex is the basis of life. It makes life. So
makes life.
We should know what works and what doesn't, and who works with who, and what works with what, and stuff like that. And that's the kind of attitude that we had on it. Sex, you get sex out of the way. It's like, because look, Justin Saint said it himself. If your girlfriend likes to be choked and you don't like to choke her, she's going to find someone to choke her. You know what I mean? So get it out of the way. Talk, communicate, just
connect.
Out of the way.
Yeah,
and that's
connect
deeply.
The
kink community. The beauty of the kink community is like, what bar can you go to and not get smacked in the face, and you can say, "Do you like to have your asshole licked?" You know what I mean? You could literally.
Wow, we've come so far in this topic.
I know. Fight for your rights. But we have the space. I mean, seriously, not that I'm going around asking people to lick my asshole or anything like that, but what I'm saying is, like, you could be comfortable in the kink community. You can be comfortable with a joke. You can be comfortable. You don't have to feel like a pervert, like the bad kind of pervert. You don't have to feel like an outcast. You don't have to feel. I feel accepted. Like I said, I felt like a fuck up my whole entire childhood. I felt like, I was the youngest of three. They all have more money. They all have families. They all have all this shit. Their version of success, which is fine, but success comes in many forms, right? I felt proud I had all those people there. And you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't have those people there if we didn't get the sex out of the way in our friendship. Now, did I fuck every single one of my friends? No, but you know what? We have the honesty and the comfort that we could just talk about sex, so it's not an issue. We could we could talk about sex with other people. We could talk who's sexy. It's not like a thing of it doesn't have to complicate things. It makes
I
it
think
better.
Yeah, I think it's about connecting on that deeper level, being able to connect on a level where in the vanilla world, I know you use that term a lot, but it's our regular walk of non-kinky life,
Mhm.
that we don't normally typically connect that deeply on heavier or deeper topics. And it's like commonplace. It's expected and it's very normal, and it's something that is a regular part of the way that we communicate together as kinky people with each other in such a depth and such a vulnerable way that it allows us to speak more easily, to emote or express ourselves more easily. It elevates our level of emotional intelligence. Whereas, in other aspects of our vanilla life, people are like very tongue in cheek about things and afraid
Yeah,
to approach certain topics.
I
So
see it. I saw it like at the funeral. No offense to anybody who's there, but like who's not kinky, but like there's a lot of sadness behind those eyes. There's a lot of loneliness behind. Like there, I see not just at the funeral. I see it everywhere. Couples who are just not getting, who just not connecting. You
mhm.
know what I mean? And this is gonna sound really shallow, but it feels good that like in the midst of death, right? I'm having a pretty good sex life. You know what I mean? Seriously, no, like, because it's that contrast, magnifies life. You know what I mean? So you see sexual people, you see kinky people. It's like they're doing something. They're expressing themselves. First of all, they know who they are. They know what they want. Right? Boom, right there. That's sexy as can be. Right? But someone with purpose. Nothing worse than a time waster, right? Someone with purpose, you got that. So once they're kinky, they have at least some kind of purpose to get kinkier or whatever, express themselves and connect. That kind of energy sets everything right. You know what I mean? As opposed to, you know what? I'm gonna talk to this woman. Her name is Lioness, and my wife can't know, or my girlfriend can't know
Which,
because
by the way, I don't fly that way. So all parties must be aware and consenting. So, but go
yeah, I
ahead.
don't know, but just I'm literally there are some couples out there, and I see them. They're like
Yeah.
just talking to another woman or talking to another man, like, will send him off on some, like, jealous raid or
Yeah.
some, ruminating bullshit.
The
That's
lack of being open is,
and then that's another thing, the kink community is open.
mhm.
We're not afraid to take a beating or a whip or a paddle. You think we're not afraid to hurt your feelings verbally? We're not we're not like we could be honest. We could use our fantasy to accept honesty and accept reality. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So along in that vein of acceptance, um, we typically we reach a point of being able to accept without
Yeah.
unconditionally, without
Mhm.
explanation. And this is the part of kink that doesn't always make like the promo flyers, but being accepted unconditionally is a strength within our community, and it transcends our differences. It transcends the slash. It really being able to accept somebody where they are for who they are and what they need, or what they're about. It's something that we focus pretty heavily on, and that we strive for. Of course, people are people, but that's, for me at least, that's what I work toward: unconditional acceptance and taking people where they are. Um,
What's interesting about that, with acceptance is that the king I don't anywhere else, it's not as fluid. So in other words, we're in the kink community, right? And there's a lot of kinks that are just not our kinks. All right. We don't have to
mhm,
list them, we don't have to make fun of them or anything like that. But if like you meet someone
mhm.
into it, since they're in the kink community, like, okay, that's cool, fine. Do your thing,
Right.
You're
We don't
kinky
yuck
enough to
anybody
know.
else's yum.
Yeah, yeah. But outside the kink community, the yucking of someone else's yum is very prevalent.
Oh, it's very judgmental. Yeah, it's very judgmental. We pride ourselves, at least for the most part. I mean, not everybody, of course. You have people of all kinds, but we in the community pride ourselves in being accepting.
It's also
And
not as shocking anymore, like in Jane's Addiction. It's not nothing shocking. In the sense that like I've seen I've seen Nico Noir give manginas to people. It's you know,
Nico.
it's a big
I
staple.
love her.
You know, shout out to Nico. I love you. I just talked to her today. She's an amazing person. I love you, Nico Noir. But still, like hearing about it and seeing about it, you kind of just like, oh, okay, you know, oh, another toilet coffin or another this or another, mangina, stuff like that. It's just like it becomes normal. It's like if you're surrounded by I don't want to say drugs, you'd be around, but like surrounded by like stuff that shocks people all the time, it's not going to shock you as much.
You're right.
When's the last time you made a mangina, Lioness?
Oh my God. Unfortunately, I do not make manginas as often as I should.
As you should. Would you have like special staples, like sparkly staples?
Everything has to be sparkling. I love sparkle. If it's glitter, it's for me.
Every time you do it, it goes like, wow.
Like a little disco ball.
Yes.
All right.
Disco.
So
That
did
should
it
be
feel
a bad name?
China disco ball?
Come on, where are you going to see tonight? We're gonna go see Mangina Disco. Oh yeah, they're opening up for the Cringy Squirms. It's great.
Cringy Squirms. Oh my God, I love that we can laugh together about the most ridiculous things. And that's the other thing about this community is there is such a level of ridiculous that is the most awesome thing that I have experienced in my life, being able to be ridiculous and laugh with people. And
you know what? Yes. Y-E-S. Yes. I agree so much I had to spell it out. Seriously, you have to be silly. Come on, think about it. I was wearing a French maid outfit last night, massaging feet.
That's every night.
Like, come on, I kind of look ridiculous. Felt good, on both ends, but still, like, there's a beauty in the silliness of it. And this whole show, like my show, it's a whimsical show. Like, sure, let's do it. Yeah, that's how ideas get made. That's how people get inspired through whimsy.
I agree. Everything can't be so heavy. You gotta insert the lightheartedness, and you gotta find the smile.
Shit, during a liver transplant, well, that's another thing. I even talked about that in the eulogy.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has heart problems for the last 30 years. Right, 5 defibrillators.
5 defibrillators. He's a Timex watch. Iron Man. Wow.
Yeah, in and out hospital. My mom has been like saying he's been dying for the last 30 years. I'm worried about your father. I think this is it. This is 30 years ago. Every year, right? But there was a time. I'm going through a liver transplant. I'm in a hospital, and he's going through another defibrillator thing or whatever. He's in a different hospital, and finally, after all these years, so it's 2 hospitals, 2 beds, miles away, no one else around. It's just us, and it's like we were old friends. It's like we weren't just like father and son. We were patients, like so we could. And he had a very sharp sense of humor, so we joke about death all the time.
Oh, well, I see where you get it from then.
Yeah, I definitely get it from him. So you got to joke, and all through the liver transplant, I was making jokes, just because it's absurd. Like the whole thing, life's absurd. They're gonna put a liver of someone else and put it in me. Yeah, see how that goes. Sure, I might die. It's like, and my life at the time was crazy. I was all right. So at the liver transplant, during the liver transplant, I was living in Denellen with a woman who I love very much, who's manic depressive bipolar, with some very, let's just say, concerning tendencies. Right?
Yeah, that's hard. That's tough.
Yeah, it was, so the maelstrom of emotions, and then the pain of loss and recovery, and eventually she passed away. But dealing through the liver transplant, and then there's like COVID's happening at the height of COVID. So everyone's dying of COVID. No one's going to funerals because it's COVID. So I'm going to be lost. I'm like, it's just, you're humbled to like, you're just another number. You're just another flesh body, a meat puppet. You got to have a sense of humor about stuff. And if it's look, I don't care how sexy you are. You know, some of the BDSM clothing are just ridiculous, and it's beautifully ridiculous. And, you know what I mean? It's the beauty, it's the pageantry of it. You have to be silly. I think I wore 2 petticoats last night, just fucking around.
So I want to talk about how did it feel to receive support from people who know you in a kinky way? And before you answer that, I want to remind you all of the crazy stuff that we have talked about over the last week during our check-ins, and you're asking me these crazy questions and to come up with stories. And I know that was a part of, processing and getting through things for you. And I was happy to do it. And I was happy to, it's easier, of course, for anybody to laugh through something than to stay in a heavy headspace.
I just ask you like a random question, like femdom restaurant. Who's do the way?
It was wonderful. Yeah, it was wonderful. So do you think, I know at least that was being with you in that space and providing the support for you and talking to you every day and having that be an aspect of the support that, you were asking for and that I was providing you. I know that was very different than support that I've offered other people in other ways. So how did it feel for you to have that element?
Oh my God, thankful again, lucky that I have you, honestly, that lucky that I have like the community, and just that there's somebody to joke with. I could make some really dark, funny, off-putting jokes, and there's someone in the kink community who can get it, connect with it, or at least dismiss it as this part of kink community antics or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, comfort, the ultimate feel of comfort, and that feeling of comfort can get you through hard times, knowing that you have someone. And that's what my father was like. He was the most dependable man I've ever met in my life. Seriously, he was a man of his word. He was always there to help. It took him forever to do it sometimes, to explain it, and his delivery wasn't like, it was kind of off-putting sometimes, but he did it. He got the job done. Yeah.
And I just want to talk to the audience for a minute. If you're in the
Sure,
chat, and
I love the audience. I can't see the chat.
Yeah, right. I'm driving this episode.
You're hosting this one.
So if you guys are in the chat and you've ever felt like you've been held by your chosen family when life felt heavy, just drop a heart for us. No stories. You just acknowledge and drop a heart for us. And I'm going to go to the chat a little bit and see and talk to some folks and see who's here, who's chattering in the chat. Oh, Sunshine. Hi, Sunshine. And then we have, she's been an incredible support for you, of course, as your partner.
She's amazing. She saved my life. Okay, I'm writing a book called The Coolest Way to Save Your Life. So there are many people who did save my life, but I would not be talking to you right now if it wasn't for Sunshine. I love this woman. She's my partner. She saved me from that mess before. The COVID and the liver transplant and living in a situation. Now, I mean, we wouldn't have these shows. I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for Sunshine and Shari and everything like that. I wouldn't be where I am at. And there's some people who have that light, like I was talking about in the eulogy. She has it.
Mm-hmm.
Love shines in everything she does. Even just the way she says hello to you.
Yeah, she's beautiful. I love being in her orbit all the time. Every time I see her. And here's Stan Vladimir.
Stan Vladimir.
Hey, Stan.
Incredibly say I love Stan. Stan's rock, man. He's doing the whole thing. Stan's been around since, I'd say, pretty much the beginning of your Kinky Friends. He's a great guy. And then when Miss Melissa, the woman who used to do the banners and who's edited my book and who was responsible for the cover of my book, The Coolest Way to Kill Yourself, and Your Kinky Friends, and Chip Black Nail Polish, on some health issues, and she couldn't, manic depressive, bipolar, like, there's a lot of stuff happening. Stan picked up picked up. And seriously, in my most vulnerable moment, he comes through every time. And everybody out there in the kink community, treat him right.
Yeah, Stan's a cool cat. He's a
Treat him
good
right.
guy.
Treat him. Show up when he needs it. Show up.
Absolutely, he shows up for
I
us.
love Stan. I love you, my brother. Love you.
And then we have Bill. Hey, Bill.
Hey,
My friend Bill.
What's up, Bill?
Very nice. Who else? Who else is in here? Oh, Sunshine says life doesn't stop. She's so right.
Purpose of life is to continue. Right. I do have some things I do have to shout out. First of all, I need to shout out Miss Shari. And of course, Nico Noir, especially Terry, also known as C-Bombs. Terry and George came by the funeral too. Of course, we got Bex, we got Shari, we have Bex, Ariana Stooney, who wrote the foreword to my book. I sent you off to
I met her. She was fantastic. Yeah.
Magnificent woman. Who else? We got Ryan Cool, Lee Moore, Lulu, Miss J. I love Miss J. Anybody who knows Miss J, you better treat her right too. She's a magnificent woman. Miss J, Sylvia J, Ray Dom, BB. Oh, I love you, BB. Sweet and Loco, my friend, Sweet and Loco. Of course, you got the magnificent, curious Kitty, Altair, and then Altair's wife, Sarah. And there's so much more. There's so many more people, but those are the ones that really stepped up and helped. Sestra too. Shout out to
she's wonderful.
Love Sestra. And
all these people are just, they're in our orbit, and they really pull through. They really are solid folks, and I love not just being around them, but just watching them just move. Yeah, I love watching good people.
Thank you, everybody. Please, Kink community, treat them right, or you don't have to fucking answer to me.
Oh God. Well, let's circle back to reciprocity and care culture. Let's bring it back. What was it like being on the receiving end? Typically, you're usually the one showing up. I have to be honest with you. You bring that fire. You bring that light. You are always engaging. You're always showing up for people. And we talk very regularly. And there have been many occasions where I have been needing a sounding board, and you've been there for me. So what is it like to be on the receiving end in this instance? What was that like for you?
It feels weird because I think my obsessive compulsive nature makes me talk when there's a lull. So I'm always talking all the time. I'm always trying to feel that because I usually host a show, I feel like I have to lead it, right? Or I feel like I have to be on point, do something. So it's good. It's very relaxing to not have to worry. Like for this show, oh my God, I didn't have to put the questions in. I didn't have to. I didn't have to I didn't have to.
know I got to drive.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if the guest would show up or not, because I knew that the guest was going to show up because I'm the guest.
You're the guest.
So the only person would be who could let me down is me, really. So that's cool. That's a cool feeling to have.
I'm glad I could give that to you. Yeah, I've been wanting to.
I truly appreciate this. This is, and this makes me. I got to get back out there. I got to do shows. We got a Jade Madison's on Sunday, people. Yeah, we got Mistress Violet. I had to reschedule a whole bunch of people, so I want to give a shout out to Mistress Violet. I had to reschedule Mistress Violet. I didn't want to reschedule Mistress Violet. Most importantly, though, I had to reschedule, right? Valerie von Weiss. I feel bad about that. But most importantly, we had a show at the Manor at the time of the funeral. I had a whole live show planned out, a cock and ball torture, a live cock and ball.
Oh,
it was a live cock and ball
CBT. Of all things to miss, Nick.
You know what?
No, I understand. Everybody understands.
You know what? If we kick someone in the balls, we could say, if you're not there, I'll dedicate a kick to you. I'll be like, this is for Lioness. And I'll go, oh, it'll fall to the knees and I'll cry. And I'll say, you have to say the Lady Lioness, not just the Lioness.
I'm big on honorifics, Nick.
Yes, I know.
All right. So now we're going to have to get we're going to have to put up a survey or a dedications suggestion box. We'll have to do that. So how do you think your experience in the last week, how do you think, did it change the way you think about the concept of community responsibility?
Yes. What it did, it reinforced it. Like I said, I'm taking all the good parts of my dad, my father, because they are in me. I just have to use them,
Yeah.
My father was a man who got people together. Right. He got me a job in recruiting. He got me a job in IT, and he was great at bringing people together. Photographs. He was the guy. Any wedding, any ceremony, they hired professional photographers. My dad was there getting better pictures. Put him to shame. These guys. So in other words, he just kept on going. 5 defibrillators kept on going. So what does it do? It inspires me to keep going. It inspires me. It's like, there are people who love me. I'm going to show my love for them. You know what I mean? I want to, it makes me want to do more shows. It made me want to get on this show right now to get back in action, to get that fire, to relight that flame. You know what I mean? My father didn't want me to give up. Right? He realized that what I was doing I wasn't just sitting here gooning to dominatrixes. I was trying to create a culture, but also what I think he really liked about it was the audiovisual aspect. Now he was very sick, and we had to go to a wedding in DC. He couldn't make it. What I did is I streamed the whole thing through another channel, not on Your Kinky Friends, but I streamed the whole thing, and so there he is, sick, and he saw his first grandson get married. And just the whole thing. So he was like he was there in real time. So that ingenuity, and even the Your Kinky Friends experience kind of all came together. Like the spirit of my dad made that happen. So I'm going to keep that spirit alive. I'm not going to give up until I'm 6 feet in the ground, or I'm burned up, or whatever. Until I'm gone, I'm going to keep on doing it. It's the only thing you can do is just continue. Let's keep on. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to do.
I agree. So as we talk about this, I want to talk a little bit about self-care and how important it is. And what I created was a little self-care wheel. We love our wheel. So it's important that we acknowledge the need for, and acknowledge the options, self-care. Some of our options for self-care. So I'm gonna bring up our. What's that?
You should have a wheel theme song.
We should. That's next on the list. I need a show theme song that I'm working on.
Or you could just do because every wheel is different, so you could just sing it. You'd be like, it's a gothic kind of show, so you could be like, self-care wheel.
All right, so we're going to spin this wheel.
Self-care.
All right, so we're going to spin this wheel, and based on what it lands on, I want you to give me an example of something that you could do in this.
You put me on the spot. Okay,
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm Nicholas Tanek. I love self-care and community.
All right, here we go.
Spin.
Oh, I'm so glad we landed on this first.
Sunshine hugs. All right. Yes. No, I can give her one as soon as it's over.
Aren't they the best?
They are. She's a good hugger. She makes you miss the embrace after it's over.
How poetic is that?
Yeah, because you never want it to be your last. You never wanted to let go. But so it's like, when she's the kind of person, when she hugs, it's genuine. She loves you, and it's warm. And she's short, so she's hugging up. So there's that whole symbolic nature of like she's reaching up for you. I like to kind of scoop because I'm taller. I like to kind of scoop it. Like,
She's fun sized.
yeah. I like to scoop it. She's
All right.
yeah.
We're going on sunshine hugs.
Yeah,
I'm glad that was first. All right, next one. Let's see what we get. And these are just some examples that I put in. There's plenty more. All right. All right.
Look at pics. Oh, I got away. I got away from not doing poetry. It's good.
So what kind of pictures would you normally look at just to, for a redirect of your bigger emotions?
Kink wise?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Kink wise, I'm always fascinated with the sissy narrification, femdom control, and it's not it's just I like women controlling men. I always did. Sexually controlling men in certain ways. Yeah, that's why we get along so well.
That's why we get along so well.
I really like it's fascinating me. It's like women taking out sports cars, and seeing how they do. Like people are like really into cars. Like what this man can do, this sub can do this, and this sub can do that. It doesn't have to be a man, but like it could be any any sub.
Yeah. All right, we're spinning. Ready? Okay. We're spinning. Retail therapy. That's one of my favorites. What are you buying?
I love taking women shopping for lingerie with vibrating eggs inside of them.
That's hot. Yeah, you shared this with me. And what's the indicator for what you like?
I wrote a chapter about it in this book. Wait, I'm sorry. Say it again. What is it?
What's the indicator? How do you let them know that there's something that you like?
Oh, there's a remote control switch. And so if they go through, especially if it's like a corset, anything with garter belts or thigh.
Very nice. I love it.
That's the one. But yeah, retail. Also, like when it comes to kink, kink lingerie, I am fortunate enough to have like really cool sex toys.
Yeah.
So like I could always use another one, but lingerie, like you go through lingerie, and there's always what's cool about lingerie. There's always a new design, a new fit, and the body changes. So things, it's always like new. Whereas dildos are great and everything like that, but like it doesn't fascinate me like lingerie.
I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. I'm very into lingerie. All right, we're spinning again. Ready? Let's see. Memory share.
That's all I've been doing these days for the last 10 years. You really think about it. I have some memory and I put it up here. But yeah, what I do is I consciously try, like dealing with the death of my dad. I'm consciously like, there's enough bad memories. I mean, every father son has bad memories, stuff like that. But I mean, overall, my dad was a very good man. He was a decent man. He's a loving father, so I just try to take the good aspects of it, and that's what I do. I try to just take the good aspects of the personality, and that's what they do with everybody. You consciously try to focus on the good memories and to learn from them. You think about the bad memories to learn. Every bad thing that happens to you is a lesson and a blessing in some way. You know what I mean?
A lesson and a blessing. Yeah.
You just got to look at it that way. Find what you can get from it, and you can emotionally, intellectually profit from it somehow, or physically make yourself better.
Yeah.
All right, spin the wheel.
You want me? All right, I'm doing one more spin, even though we have 4. We're doing one more. Let's see what we're.
1 out of 4. Community.
It's a big one.
It's a very big one. And I'm glad it landed on that because it comes in many forms. And there's this, like, the fact that I can't say enough how many times this week that I said, thank God for the kink community. Like, God, my people. Seriously, just there's someone to talk to. If you have if I have an issue, if I have a problem, and even if like the kink community is so diverse, like there are doctors, there are lawyers, right? There are lumberjacks. You name it, you got them. We got them, and that community is the most important part. I feel so comfortable and comforted the fact that I have a kink community. We got someone to talk to, and even if they don't know what their personality is interesting enough to at least entertain and comfort. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. There's so much to
People out
to
there.
just pull from. There's so many people out there in our community. All right, so now we're going to do
Yes.
a YKF staple, and you usually write these, so I took a
Oh,
spin. So here's mine. You ready for the
yes.
make it better?
Okay. Make it better.
So imagine I'm going to put your
Actually, this is a Growl staple. I only do this on the Growl. I've done this in
okay.
YKF since we started the Growl, but only for certain people. And yeah,
All
this
right,
is a
so the
Growl.
Growl. Make it better.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to make it better. So you're about to start a scene with a play partner of yours, a trusted play partner that you know, and they recently had suffered a loss. Let's just say loss of a pet. Pets are just as much a part of our family as people, so that's a big thing. So your play partner hasn't shared their loss with you yet.
Oh no.
And they were hoping that playing would take their mind off of things for a while. You can feel the tension and the heavy energy. What do you do in this case? How do you make it better? How do you approach?
Address it right then and there with a good intention. Address it with kindness, and say it's like, something's off, something's off. Call it, say it. We can make it right. We can make it on, but let's just address it. You know what I mean? There's no force. You don't have to do the scene. It's okay. I'd rather not doing a scene is better than doing a scene and having it fuck up and traumatize somebody, right?
You're so right. You're
Yeah,
so right.
but address it. Like seriously, fundamentally, people gravitate towards the truth, right? So if you're honest about yourself, about the situation, about the surroundings, about the situation, you could still be positive about it. You don't have to be a miserable, horrible person. You could word it in a nice way, but it's even just a little bit off. You take a couple minutes, take a breath. You don't have to jump right into a scene. You could just chill out and just talk and get more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like seriously, this is a good time. We're meant to have a good, even if it's pain, right? It's like you do it for a reason. So, but address the situation.
Yeah, I agree. There's not very many things that I wouldn't just throw communication at.
Yeah. You
That's
don't want
it's
to be
a
in a
big deal.
scene and what is that? How does that look like? You start spanking someone and someone starts sobbing because they're like, it brings them I mean, that's perfectly fine. That happens. That totally.
Yeah, that
Oh,
level of
trauma.
catharsis
I was
is the
talking to
thing.
Nico.
Yeah.
I was talking to Nico, and she goes, I cried out kindergarten. That she, because that's so much comes out of her from her past. If certain scenes, certain, but the
All right.
way just address it so we know. So we,
That's
it's
good.
conscious of it. Look, you could be a better lover, a better play partner if you know you're a partner.
Hmm.
If there's that comfort and that honesty, and they could tell you that, that's what I think. Honestly, that's why I think Sunshine and I work so well. It's like we have this kind of telepathy. We could tell something's off, and we talk about it. I mean, and even if and when it comes to sex, if like one position is off, it's not the end of the world. You just find a new position.
Absolutely. Things are not static. Yeah,
Yeah.
things are not static. So yeah, throw communication at it. I love it. I love your make it better. All right, we're moving on to the mailbag.
Oh, we got mail.
You've got mail.
I do.
Um,
Wow. Mail.
So you have undoubtedly received many messages. You talked about some of them. What message? And you don't share any names or any details, but what's one of the messages that stood out in your mind that you received over the last week?
Over the last week.
Mm-hmm.
over the last week. You mean message? You mean like emails or texting?
Yeah, anything. Somebody reaching out in support, for what you've been dealing with. What's one that really struck you?
Well, everyone that came out in the kink community, you coming out truly did. You didn't know my father. You don't know my family. You're the co-host of a podcast. And yet you were accepted and treated, and you showed up. You weren't scared, right? You weren't, oh, I got to deal with his family. You didn't know what you were walking into. They're not, but they could have been all Trumpers. Trust me, they're not. But like they, like you don't know what you're walking into.
You're right. You're right. I didn't know, but I approach situations heart first. No matter who I'm approaching, it's with goodness in my heart and authenticity. So that's why I end up not nervous in cases like that.
Very touching. Yeah, that was extremely touching. When it comes to just messages, honestly, everybody, like, they called. Miss J sent a magnificent message, which I thought was extremely heartfelt and just on point. Yeah, Miss J sent a very beautiful message. I don't want to read it because it's private.
That's okay. All right. So one of the what I would like to do is sort of just recap tonight's takeaway.
Yeah.
And I think that it's pretty simple and it's pretty clear, but it really is everything. And I think the takeaway from tonight's episode is that we really need to take care of each other.
We do.
Community means showing up even when there's nothing that can immediately be gained. But we really need to just take care of each other and make sure that we're showing up in an authentic and loving way. And sometimes it can be hard to know, what to do for somebody. But just being present in the moment and being authentically well-meaning it can really go a long way. So what do you think you could communicate to our listeners and the community? What thing do you think would be good to do for somebody who needs support and grief?
Listen to them, and not just listen, but hear them when they talk. Listen and hear. You know what I mean? Try to understand, empathize, try to walk a mile in their shoes. You know what I mean? And approach it like that. In everything you say. Don't try to get something from them. Don't waste their time. Mm-hmm. Give them something that makes their time better. They're going through grief. The pain of loss and grief is something so unique to everybody. Everybody deals in different ways. I wrote about it here. It's a good way to plug the book. This book, Your Kinky Friends, the reason that started this whole thing. It's basically the book. It's my dom died. And what do you do? How do you deal with that grief, that pain of loss? Well, this one summer I dealt it. I didn't know what to do. I impulsively just once I started talking to everybody in the kink community that I could, not necessarily to get laid, not to have an orgasm, not to even, of course I want to lick a clitoris, but that was the main goal. The main goal is just to connect, and to not feel so, I felt like no one would understand me. And no one would even think of accepting me like Lynn had in the coolest way. And I jumped right into it. That was my way of dealing. Everyone deals with grief. Some people drink. I drank way too much. I need a liver transplant, so please, whatever you do, don't drink. Watch it. Be conscious of it, of drugs, alcohol, temptation, religion, gambling, the vices. They're all extended in people. Let me put it this way. I'm gonna set this straight. You know what? Sadness is business, right? People make money off your sadness. You're emotional. How many people in the sex workers know this too? You get someone vulnerable, they can be very lucrative. You know what I mean? The way it
I
is.
mean, you don't want to, we try to be, authentic in the way that we approach people, but yeah, you're right. It
So
leaves
if
you
you're
in
going
a state of
straight,
vulnerability.
be
Mhm.
careful. And I was telling my mom this. Protect your energy. Be
Absolutely.
Your energy and your attention is currency. You know what I mean? I'm really trying to say this as a loving person. Protect your energy. Be around people who give you good energy, who feed your energy, make you feel good. Like that makes a difference. And you know what? Life is short. You could hang up. Someone's giving you bad energy. You could straight flat out say, "Yeah, you give me bad energy. I'm going to do something else."
That's it.
That's it. What are you gonna do?
It's as simple as that. I mean, it's easier said than done,
Oh
but
yeah, they give you more bad
you're right.
energy. You walk away further.
So let's talk to our audience a little bit, and thank you
Please.
guys for being here and hanging out with us and listening to something that is incredibly necessary to
Thank
be
you,
brought.
everybody.
If somebody listening right now is struggling, what would you personally want them to hear from you and a message from us?
I wonder if anyone is out there. But I mean, it's reliability and showing up. It's just emotionally, like physically show up. Some people can't because they're far away. Just like show up emotionally. And that connection is there for a reason that you have with that person. That person just lost somebody or lost like an animal or a loved one or something. Pain of loss is relative too. You may not even like the person that they lost. Doesn't matter. That person that you care about is feeling grief and loss, and they're processing it. It's confusing. It comes in waves. You know, be conscious of it. Be caring. Be cool. Be kind. Keep an open mind. That's what I say.
I love it, and I think my message would be, you're not alone. I see you. And I love you, even though I don't know you. People can hate without knowing you. I can love without knowing you. So I see you. I love you. I accept you. And you're not alone. And if you need... Mhm.
I'm sorry, the fact that you did this, the fact that you put this show together all by yourself, right? I was grieving my father. You did this. And to have this as the topic, I mean, it shows that you got the light already and you're shining it. It's beautiful. This is an example. This show, this
Thank you,
episode,
Nick.
is an example of how the community came through.
Yeah, and it is a heavier topic, but I feel like it really needs to be brought. I feel like I have an ability to, to talk to people and connect with people, and that's one of my support is one of the ways I show love, and connecting with people is something that's in such short supply sometimes. And I'm grateful that I'm part of a community, and I'm grateful that I've connected with you and with our listeners. And that I'm grateful for that every day. I think about this show. I think about, all the connections. I'm grateful for them. I practice gratefulness at the beginning and the end of each day. And it's, I identify usually 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then, 3 things that I can improve on. And so that's, I'm grateful for this. All right, Nick. So let's talk about support. How can we support you?
Oh, well, you could buy a book. They're going to go out of print, people. The physical copies are. I took my broken heart, made it into art. Your Kinky Friends is a true story about what to do when your dom dies, basically, and you're alone. This was it takes place before this, kind of, in a way. It's a big circle. But this was, even though this was written after this, it takes place during the summer before this was written, between her dying and me writing this. But please to check out my story. The Coolest Way to Kill Yourself by Nicholas Tanek. No one kills himself in the book. It's a metaphor. Basically, I became Nicholas Tanek, but it's also, I'm going to do this whether it kills me. I'm going to love this woman whether it kills me. I'm going to write this book, even if it kills me. And guess what? I killed my old selfish person that I once used to be, and now I found an identity, and my people and the community helped form it, and the writing formed it, and the podcast formed it. So please support that. So Cash App. We need money. Every show could be the last. So send Cash App to YKF under lowercase Tanek. YKF or YourKinkyFriends.com, and please subscribe to us on Spotify. YKF, Your Kinky Friends on Spotify. Subscribe. It's very inexpensive, and there's a lot of stuff on there you can't get on YouTube. It's always there before it's on YouTube for weeks. So at your dungeon, you have inside information that no one else has. They see it on the show, if they're even talking about me at all, which they're probably not, but still, doesn't matter. You'd be surprised.
You're an interesting guy. I mean, you make a topic of conversation more often than you believe, my friend. I'm sure of it. All right. And you can like and subscribe to the Growl Podcast here on YouTube. You can find us on FetLife, The Growl on FetLife. And we've got our socials, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us there. I'll be posting regularly and promoting. Just stay in the know, stay in the loop. And if this episode or any of our episodes resonate with you, please share them with a friend. I love connecting with people. And if there's any way that I can do that, I would love to. Or if any suggestions you guys have for topics or any contribution you want to make, please feel free. You can send me a message on the Growl on FetLife or the Lady Lioness on FetLife. I'm definitely searchable there. And again, I want to just make a point to, acknowledge and allow space for anybody who is in need of support. There's resources in the show notes. I've made sure to put them there. Please check them. We're not mental health counselors. We're just, two friends, two kinky friends having a chat and being authentic and loving. And if you are in an acute emotional state, please seek professional help. There is no shame in that. That is.
Oh my God. Ask for help, especially the kink community. It's like everybody's just asking for help, asking for advice. The whole community is built on that, honestly. So, if there are neurodivergent people, there are sick people, there are rich, poor, fat, skinny, every race, everything you can think of. Everybody is here somewhere, but ask for help. Ask for help. This show wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the help of everybody. Right?
You're right.
Beautiful things happen when you come together. Ask for help.
Oh my gosh, one of my best friends is in the chat. Hey,
Nice.
Casey. Yay.
Hi, how are you?
That's my Florida girl. She
Florida.
is
Florida.
everywhere I want to be. And then this is one of my friends. He's a music producer.
Nice.
And he does amazing work. He's also followable. You can follow him on Spotify. Go see me. He does some really, really brilliant stuff. So thanks for being here. And Nick, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for laying yourself bare to us here on the show. That takes a lot. And we love you and we see you and we are here for you every step of the way. And I want you to always feel held and supported. And I really want you to feel that because, as much as you put into this show and the other aspects of your life, I want you to know that it does come back. And especially, in this case, and all of us here who have been hanging out in the chat and listening and that tune in every week, we're here, not just, we're here for you. We're here for me. We're here for all of us. And I love to be a part of it. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. And thank you. And please, if you have a poem or if you're an artist or if you make beats or music or anything like that, please check out the Kink Helps Kink art and poetry project. We're putting a whole bunch of stuff together. Oh, here's my website. There's even an episode. Kink Helps Kink. Let's see if that comes up. Here's a Kink poem by Karen Joyner Washington, and this is the art project. We'll discuss a little more about it. We're going to have an official thing. We have a poem and everything like that. Kink Helps Kink poem. We're looking for songs. Believe it or not, I'm talking to my own nephew to make a folk song about this stuff. So yeah, if you're a poet,
That'll be cool.
If you're a poet, a writer, an artist, sculptor, a painter, if you make music, if you have an acoustic guitar, if you play banjo, I don't care. I want to hear it. I want to see it. Kink Helps Kink. We're starting a culture. I mean, I want to take this kink culture is good people. Like, I'm alive because of the culture. You know what I mean? So it helped me. Let me show how everybody helps everybody. So that's what this is all about. Anything that's with that theme, Kink Helps Kink, anything you could do, I'll get you up. I'll get you exposure. Yeah. Take your broken heart, make it into art. Make it happen.
I love that. All right. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and close it out. Thank you so much for being here with us, everybody.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad, and I will see you. So glad you were here, and I'll see you next week, next Monday at 8.
Hey, people.